So a few weeks ago, KSI said he's gonna be fighting at least once this year, and with Misfits themselves tweeting who next for KSI, I decided to look over some potential opponents and see which one makes sense. Now if you just look at the top replies of this tweet, you already knew they were all gonna be about Jake Paul, but because Jake fought Andre August at 200 pounds and KSI's natural weight is 180, you already know they're never gonna agree on the weight. But if you scroll a bit further down, you can see some other big names being called, like a rematch against Tommy Fury. I'd want to see Conor McGregor. Tell him stop ducking me. Okay, everyone has social media, and you already know if you see 12 likes and 12 replies, you already know this man got absolutely cooked. So let's see. Because you were... Yup, I already knew it. Maybe stop being 500 plus pounds. LOL, you don't know who you are, low bro. I don't think there's extra super heavyweight division in Misfits. And who are you exactly? Who are you, low bro? You look like you spend more time in McDonald's than the gym. Holy sh. Realistically, the list of fighters that actually make sense to be KSI's next opponent are Jake Paul. I don't care about the weight difference, this fight was supposed to happen in 1932. Conor McGregor, Slim, Tyron Woodley, Jorge Masvidal, Tommy Fury, and Aiden Ross. So now to quickly go over each one and why they make sense, starting with Conor McGregor, I mean, he literally called out KSI to have a bare knuckle fight.
I know your man KSI is in the crowd, yeah? And he couldn't box eggs if he worked in an egg boxing factory. So if he wants to get in here, I'll give him a final, bare knuckle if you want.
And then KSI replied by saying, just seen this. Jake Paul must be crying that I've got Conor McGregor on my 54-inch missile already and I didn't even have to fight an MMA fighter. Now this fight can 100% happen in the future, but because Conor McGregor has been wanting to get in the octagon, I don't really see it happening anytime soon. The next potential opponent KSI can face is Slim, which from an outside perspective actually makes sense since Slim literally beat every single person ahead of him while also being one of the best boxers in this scene, and he's been calling out KSI for like a month now. But because KSI wants to prove that he's a better boxer than Jake Paul, him fighting Slim isn't really gonna do anything when Jake Paul's out here fighting pro boxers and trying to become a world champion. Moving on to the next opponent, we got Tyron Woodley, and him and KSI have been going back and forth at each other since Woodley fought Jake Paul, but the reason to why this fight never happened is because KSI basically said, why should I fight a tired Tyron Woodley that hasn't won a single boxing fight and got knocked out by Jake Paul by standing still? And this fight, once again, it does make sense on paper just because Woodley has fighting experience and him and KSI have been talking trash to each other, which is what is needed. Wait, what? Which is needed to build up a fight. Which is needed to build up a fight. But just like Slim, KSI fighting Woodley isn't really gonna do anything for him because then he's just fighting people Jake Paul's already beaten, so even if he wins, no one's gonna care. Like, what? So that leaves Jorge Masvidal and the Tommy Fury rematch, and I think KSI's next opponent is gonna be one of these two people unless he just picks a random pro boxer like he did with Pineda, but we all know how that went. I mean, Pineda spent more time on his knees than actually fighting KSI. I don't know if he was trying to suck him off or what he was doing. Now, starting off with Tommy Fury, the biggest reason to why KSI should fight him next is to secure that win and to prove to everyone that he can beat a professional boxer that's been fighting his whole life. I mean, it's pretty obvious that his loss to Tommy Fury hurt him physically, spiritually, mentally, intellectually, ecologically, Wait, no. Wait. Like, KSI literally told all his fans to comment on Tommy Fury's Instagram post saying he won the fight, and even though he said it like 3 months ago, they're still doing it. Like, just look at this. So you click on a photo, and the first comment's an entire essay. No one cares about that. You lost to KSI, buddy. KSI. Like, oh, wait, what? What is this? Literally everything is KSI. Holy. And I would click this photo, but there's some like beef going on at the time of this recording. Like Mini Minter called out like his like daughter's name or something. Like, I don't know, he made a post about it.
Simon from the Sidemen, say whatever you want about your mate KSI who lost, but don't ever mention my daughter's name again, or me and you's gonna have a problem. Keep my child's name out of your mouth.
So yeah, and we all saw how mad KSI was when he lost that fight just because he thought he won, and now that it's been 4 months, you would think he would give it up, but this man's still on it. He's still saying like every single day he won the fight. Like, just look at this.
I stay undefeated. I didn't lose. There's no evidence. There's no evidence of Tommy Fury beating me up. Show me the footage of Tommy Fury beating me up. You can't. There is none. You can't find it. I win.
What?
I beat Tommy Fury. That's right. Didn't lose. I won.
But not only would KSI fighting Timmy allow him to prove that he's better than him, but that would also put Jake Paul in a bad spot since he also lost to Timmy pretty convincingly. Like, imagine if KSI rematches Tommy and beats him. People would make fun of Jake Paul so much that he would have to fight Tommy again just to prove that he can also beat him, but because he would have so much pressure on him to win that he might just lose again. Like, that much pressure on you, you have to win. If you lose, it's over. You're done. You're gonna see Michael Jackson. And lastly, Tommy even said himself that he wouldn't mind fighting KSI or Jake Paul again, and just because he knows he can win, and those fights are providing him millions of dollars, so it wouldn't be too hard to set up. Now finally, the last fight that probably makes even more sense for KSI is Jorge, Gorge, George, Forge, Lorge, Morge, Masvidal. Masvidal retired from the UFC around a year ago when he made it clear that he wanted to begin competing in boxing matches, and he was actually rumored to fight Nate Diaz earlier this year. But what makes Medieval such a good opponent for KSI is that he, one, obviously has crazy fighting experience being in 52 UFC fights, 2, has crazy striking ability which translates over to boxing, 3, hasn't fought Jake Paul before, which is good for KSI since it won't look like he's just copying Jake, and 4, they're the same weight. So it's perfect. Masvidal was actually asked about fighting KSI in an interview with Airplane Horwani, and this is what he said.
Jorge and KSI, you're like exactly the same weight.
Look, I'll be honest with you. I don't think that dude would ever take the fight.
You don't think so?
You kidding me? Hell no, bro. That dude's not trying to die on TV. Like, he's not. He's fighting these other dudes and he's barely surviving. You think he's gonna get in there with me? That dude, that's a dude throwing elbows in boxing.
That's the one. That's the one. That's the one.
That dude's wilding out, but nah, that guy don't want to die. I mean, he would hit me with that elbow and I would just wink at him and then he'd know, like, you're dead.
And the last reasoning to why this may actually be KSI's next opponent is because on one of the Misfits Small Council meetings, someone actually brought Masvidal's name up, and Mams Taylor, which is KSI's manager, he started smiling like they were already getting this fight set up.
Put KSI in there against, a Masvidal or, even like a Cowboy Cerrone, that's just pulling a name out of a hat.
The only issue with this fight is that KSI's been making fun of Jake's opponents for being old, retired MMA fighters when Masvidal's exactly that, but at least Masvidal's last fight was a year ago instead of someone like Ryan Borderland who fought once in the last 6 years. So overall, if KSI's next opponent isn't gonna be some random professional boxer that no one's ever heard of, I personally think it's gonna be Tommy Fury or Jorge Masvidal. But comment down below who you think KSI's next fight may be, or who you may want him to fight next, and make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to never miss future videos.